welcome. My name is Gerry Carew with Gale Force Wins, and it gives me a great deal of pleasure to let everyone know that we are on site for the Mineral Resources Review 2024 being held in St. John's November 5th to the 8th. One of the sponsors for the event is trajectorE Engineering, and that is on November 6th. All day, we're going to be doing thought leadership recordings and interviews with people and thought leaders, and it's brought to us by trajectorE. With no further ado, I have someone from trajectorE on Zoom right now with me, Don Stevens. Don, please introduce yourself.
Well, hi, Gerry. I'm Don Stevens. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at trajectorE. I started with trajectorE about a couple of years ago, but I come from much longer pedigree background than that. I'm a chemical engineer, born and raised in Newfoundland, did a chemistry degree here at Memorial, and decided I would leverage that and go into engineering. So I moved to New Brunswick, where I finished off an master's in engineering degree, and started to get into the resource development area. I worked for New Brunswick Power Corporation on a couple of major projects there. And one of them was very interesting. It was an extraction of vanadium from fly ash. And that taught me a little bit about what hydrometallurgy was. I didn't even know how to say that word at the time, but it's leveraging chemical processes in mineral extraction. So that started a career in the mining industry. I then went to a mining company in Alberta, worked there for a few years. And around that time, Gerry, the Voisey's Bay project was being negotiated. And those who can remember that time, it was a very dynamic period in the industry in general, in Newfoundland and Canada, and Inco and Falconbridge at the time were bidding over the property. And I got an opportunity to move to Mississauga and Inco's research facility, and got involved on new flow sheet development, looking at ways to unlock that resource to bring it into production. And I ended up working for Inco and then Vale for 16 years of my career, developing that process from flow sheet concept through testing, through demonstration, and into commercial production. So I ended up moving back home to Newfoundland in 2004 to manage the Argentia demonstration plant facility, which was extremely gratifying and enjoyable, and bringing the technology and project to the province, which unlocked that deal, actually, in fact. And then I was a general manager for the Long Harbour processing plant through the design, commissioning, and operations ramp-up period. So that's really what started my career, my trajectory. I then leveraged that and went on to another couple of operations, worked in the iron ore industry for a couple of years, worked in the lithium industry for a couple of years, and have done some consulting on precious metals flow sheet development and recovery as well. So that's who I am. So now I'm with trajectorE and helping to bring that background to anybody who looking for those services.
We're going to delve into trajectorE in a second. Just so you know who you're talking to, when I was in university, I had, I guess, ideas of being a chemist myself. And I'll tell you a quick story. I actually was in drying a crucible to constant weight. After about a month's work, I dropped it on the floor and it broke. So I realized that career was not for me, and I moved into the business program at MUN. So that's who you're talking to here today. So my apologies for anyone who's a real chemist like yourself.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about trajectorE. First of all, what's the motivation for you to be part of that company? And then tell us a little bit about the company.
Yeah, so trajectorE is a group of people, former operations folks with a long history working in operations, who've come together to leverage our experience both in project development and operations to help operators and developers develop new projects and bring them into production safely and efficiently. So, with that background, we have between, we varied between projects, but around 25 people on the roster right now. And some of them are experienced people who are committed full-time to trajectoRE. Some of them are associates that we bring in who really offer efficiency to our clients. When they want to take advantage of experience, we can bring people in. We've got a large network. And then we're developing internal expertise as well through junior ranks to backfill that. So trajectoRE does operational review for companies, operational readiness. We do asset management, development, commissioning, and project development. A lot of studies identifying opportunities for operators who have maybe a new mineral resource, looking at how to bring them to market. What's the best way to do it? Looking at the upstream and downstream opportunities and helping to say, look, based on our experience, this is the most efficient way to do that. And then we can do studies to define the operating and capital cost, and so that they can say, now I've got something. We also do that for existing operations who say, look, we want to do a small sustaining capital project. And what can you do to help us understand what to be done there? And one of the things that often operators will do is skip steps, or not understand that operational readiness is important and not be ready. So the project will be ready to hand over, and the operations team themselves won't be ready. So we provide our advice and experience on how to make sure you're ready to receive that asset.
Don, it's fascinating to me. You have obviously an incredibly scientific approach to what you're doing, but you seem like you also have quite a business orientation around you. Talk a little bit about that and how that serves your clients.
Great question, Gerry. At the underpinning, I am a scientist and a chemist. And then I became an engineer, so that's applied science. And the reality is you then have to apply that into a business context. And all the great ideas in the world won't work unless they have a business model that works. So we do appreciate and understand through the school of hard knocks what works and what doesn't work, and how to evaluate the best thing for an operator to put in place. It's really around, there's an opportunity, but there's also risk that you bring into a project. And it's all about risk management and identifying what you absolutely need to do to unlock the value of your project, and what you don't need to do. And those things that you don't need to do, these are risks that are marginal improvement but high consequences. So we look at that. We do a thorough review of how to make sure a project is right-sized, efficient, and doesn't bring in things that are actually going to compromise the business outcome.
Very interesting, Don. In perusing your website, I noticed that your market is not just Newfoundland. You're doing work in Saskatchewan. You've got some work going on in Arizona, Labrador. Tell us a little bit about who and where you serve.
Good. So one of the benefits of having been around in the industry for a while is that we've got a network of people who know us around the world. Being an engineering service provider, we can work basically anywhere and still work with clients using video link and sharing things and so on. So we're doing work on pilot plant development for operations. We're doing operational asset management development for clients. We're doing new mine design, operational readiness review for clients in these locations. And one of the more interesting recent ones that we've started is this project in Arizona. And this is a new flow sheet development. And we're providing advisory services to the operations team who are understanding what's needed, what's the methodical process to get that proven and up into operations. So that's a very interesting project. It's actually in the critical mineral space, and that's an area where we see a huge amount of growth and opportunity. Everyone's looking for critical minerals in the world, and there's a huge need. There's a lot of opportunity here in Newfoundland in particular, but around the world. And we don't constrain ourselves to a geographical area, but we offer that same service to whoever comes.
On that note, the Mineral Resources Review is located in St. John's, Newfoundland, and, Gale Force Wins as well travels around the world. But when we get to do things at home, Don, there's something really special about that. Can you tell us a little bit about the opportunity in Newfoundland? We, myself and my business partner, have been lucky enough to do Central Minix 2 years in a row, and listening to the people coming from all over the world and telling us how much the resources of Newfoundland are available. Can you just touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Newfoundland has tremendous mineral resource. I mean, from coast to coast and all throughout Labrador, it's just a wealth of opportunity here. Some of the times the challenge, though, is unlocking that and getting it into production and getting it to market. So, this was an issue for sure that we had when I was working on the Voisey's Bay project. There's an unbelievable resource there, but how do you get that to market? What do you need to do? What are the methodical steps that you need to bring to play to make sure you do it in an efficient way, effective way? You've got your upstream and downstream logistics organized. This is often the challenge in Newfoundland, but it doesn't negate the potential that's here. There's a lot of interest, a lot of opportunity, and I see good examples of companies that are doing that in an efficient way, taking their time, ensuring that they do it right. And making sure that the value that's there in the ground is extracted in an efficient and effective way and low risk way, so that the shareholders who are ultimately investing in this get the return that they are expecting.
I kind of, it's just fascinating to me. I don't know a lot about the industry that you're in, but when I listen to you, I get very excited because I know that the leadership that you and your team are providing to companies that have an interest is really, really important. So you're sponsoring the Mineral Resources Review. The show is an important one for Newfoundland and Labrador. We're not going to delve too deeply into that. Just touch a little bit on one of the reasons why thought leadership and the reason you're sponsoring thought leadership is important to you as a company.
Well, Gerry, thought leadership is a mouthful and it means a lot to different people, but we believe in the industry. We believe in partnering with leaders in the industry to make sure that the knowledge that's available is leveraged. There's resources, there's markets that need to get to it, but you need to do it in a sensible, effective, efficient way using the brain power that we have in the province and in the industry. So we're proud to be part of that. Like to see you successful, and whatever we can do to make sure that the industry is successful, and what we can do to partner with operators to achieve that, we're happy to be part of.
One last question, Don. It's important to us at Gale Force Wins, and we ask this question a lot. What advice would you give to anyone out there, be it youth, be it someone who's established in their career? What advice would you give to them about the industry that you're in?
Wow.
It's a big one.
Question,
it's
Gerry.
a big one.
I could give lots of advice. I've had a long career. I've learned a lot, ups and downs and so on. To an individual, it's very difficult to know where your future lies. But if you see and you are passionate in something, the mineral industry is a huge opportunity for individuals to be involved in, from the geology, exploration, development, refining, marketing, business operations. It's just a wealth of opportunity. And if you have an opportunity in any of those sectors, this is a growth area. The world is shifting from a fossil fuel based economy into an electrified economy. And for that, we need lots of metals and minerals to be developed. I mean, the critical minerals is a buzzword because is so critical. And if you can find a place to be part of that, whatever that is, and if you have a passion in it, I would say ride that. And you never know where it's going to take you. When I started as a chemist, I had no idea I would end up being, back in my home province working on mineral resource developments here. But when the opportunity is in front of you and you just do your best, take advantage of what's there. I think as a company, as an individual, as a sector, we can be successful together.
Amazing talking to you. Folks, this is Don Stevens. This is what leadership is all about. He's the Chief Operating Officer of trajectorE in St. John's, Newfoundland. And when I read their website, they say, they are professionals who put experience and expertise to work in partnership with operators to achieve sustainable production. Don, it's an absolute pleasure to be talking to you. Thank you for sponsoring Thought Leadership at the Mineral Resources Review 2024. Folks, that's happening November 5th to the 8th at the Delta in St. John's. We hope to see you there.
Thanks, Gerry.